Well, my name's Jenny Copeland, so I'm the owner of Tofurei. I set up the business around about 6 years or so ago, so I've been kind of going steady and strong since. My stepfather, he owned his own business, and completely out of the blue, he literally phoned me up one day and he said, "Oh, you're vegan, aren't you?" I was like, "Yes." "Would you like to set up a vegan business? If you give me a decent business plan, I'll back it for you. But you've got to, prove to me that you can make it work first and foremost." As we were producing recipes, we were using a lot of tofu, and the tofu we were using was just not very nice. But tofu has like a reputation for being really bland and flavourless, and it pretty much was. And I think I was quite disappointed with it. So we decided, well, why don't we try making our own? And we got like a little home kettle and made some tofu. And then even that, on that scale, was better than what we could buy at the supermarkets. Plus we hit that ground running, and we didn't have time to practice really. We were just, right, let's make tofu and let's open the shop. And it was so intense. It was like the most intense time in my life, I think, that first month, because I say I've never run a shop before, I've never run a business, I've never had employees. So that it all happened all at once. And then it was received really well. Good people in Norwich was like, "Yes, we want your tofu, we want your tofu products." I'm the most reluctant vegan you probably ever meet in your life. I mean, I've been vegan for about 12 years, and one day I just looked, it sounds a bit dramatic, but I looked in the eyes of a little crow, and we had this connection, and I just felt like that crow's aware. I'm going home and I'm eating chicken. Is that the right thing to do? And I kind of stopped eating chicken for that reason. And so I looked into it, and I saw this picture of a lone chick on a conveyor belt in the egg industry about to drop down into a grinder. And that moment, like my whole reality was shaken, and I felt like completely lied to. And then the same thing happened with the dairy industry, like as if they do that to cows. That's absolutely disgusting. That's clearly abusive. And the only reason I went vegan is completely selfishly because I felt too uncomfortable, too guilty about it. It's the guilt that got me eventually. You just can't call yourself an animal lover and carry on funding this clearly what's abuse, regardless whether you like the animal or not. So when it comes down to having the stigma of being vegan, I don't really care. I'll just take it. Prior to becoming vegan, the word vegan was just instantly really negative, like, you're vegan. And I know for a fact that I would have had exactly the same reaction. And I had this misconception about all vegans are really skinny and malnourished, but it makes no sense because there's plenty of meat eaters that are skinny and malnourished. So none of it's logical, none of it's based on logic at all. I'm vegan for the animals first and foremost, and a bonus of that is it is more sustainable, more eco-friendly. We've got to do our best, and that's down to compostables, it's down to the packaging, it's down to recycling, and just getting into the mindset that all of our actions has some kind of consequence. I know when we first started, we were using compostables straight away, and there was nobody else that was doing that around, certainly around this area. And it cost us a fortune. For every cup was like so expensive, but we stuck with it. And now everybody just about has compostable. We've got a premium product at the end of the day, and that's what customers expect, and that's what we want to give. So then springboarding off of that, I started rescuing pigeons just because I was walking through the city one day with my friend and realised that their poor little feet, because of the way they walk, they just pick up threads and wraps around their poor feet. So we started snipping all these little threads off their feet and then letting them go again. Kind of how that obsession started, and I just had this strange connection with birds. And when you look in their eyes and you just think, "Oh, you're brilliant, you're absolutely wonderful." You don't need a science degree to know that the animal's sentient, and that's not humanising them. That's just the way that they are. They've got characters just like you and I do. That's why we've got to kind of keep on reminding people.